Everybody. I know it's been a little while, but I wanted to talk to everybody today about trauma and laziness, okay? Because promise you, we're not all lazy. But before we talk about that, I have to tell you something else really quick. I have a new camera, as you can see, and this camera allows you to see me as I am. I am full of freckles, I'm a freckle-faced girl, just naturally. And I also have issues with my skin. If you see the marks here, these ones there, these marks can be anywhere on my face, any given day or hour. It's not really a pimple. It's like a raised red area that just happens. It turns out when people have PTSD, CPTSD, DID, trauma disorders, that comes out on your skin. And the reason I wanted to tell you this is because if you notice right here, I have these marks. You see? Right there? I have marks here. And the reason I have those marks is because when I was a kid, I had severe cystic acne caused by trauma. And the reason I know it was I had it for years, just here. It was painful, itchy, swollen, awful. I would have to get, shots in my face sometimes, like cortisol shots cortisone shots, not cortisol, cortisone shots and different things, take antibiotics, tetracycline, all the stuff, that you had to do for skin. It never worked because it was my trauma coming out on my skin, which is very common. Acne and trauma go together. And so throughout my channel, you guys may have noticed I tend to use filters, and this is the reason I use filters, because I don't like wearing foundation. I don't know how to put makeup on very well, okay? I finally got eyeshadow down to some degree. I know how to do lipstick, but I don't know how to do foundation and shading and all the different stuff. And so I just prefer to have a naked bare face, and this is what it looks like. And so I'll put a filter on so you don't see all these little marks, and they could be anywhere on my face on a given day. So it's just due to stress and persistent chronic stress that my skin is constantly like that. So I just wanted to mention that so people who have acne related to stress, don't feel alone. Okay, so let's get on to laziness. Okay, so here we go. I will tell you this, if you are traumatized, PTSD, CPTSD, DID, any kind of trauma disorder, you're not lazy. You're traumatized. And I'm going to explain to everybody why this is so important, okay? Because when you have a trauma disorder, you have a disorder of your nervous system. It's a disorder of the neurological system. Basically, with DID, PTSD, CPTSD, your brain, your body is constantly kicking you into fight or flight. So over little things. Things that were big traumas as children now have become triggers. And triggers can be anything. It can be a picture in a room, the smell in the air. It could be anything. And so you have to live with these constant triggers that are constantly sending us into fight or flight. What happens when you go into fight or flight? Well, first, your parasympathetic system is going to kick in. Okay, wait, I said that wrong. Okay, this is the cycle, okay? You start at the baseline, which is your parasympathetic, let me look at my notes. Parasympathetic connection mode is what it's called. That's what normal people have. That's just peaceful gazing. But if there's a trigger, then that will ignite your sympathetic nervous system, in which case you will go into fight or flight. In most cases, as an adult, you can't run from what's happening because it's all around you. So, initially the body goes to flee, but if fleeing fails, it goes into freeze. That's the most common response to trauma as an adult, is freeze mode. And that is because your parasympathetic nervous system has shut your brain down. And when I say that, basically your brain is playing dead, like any animal in the forest who has been trapped and their life has been threatened. They play dead. That's one of the coping, like, escape mechanisms, potentially. And so what most people who don't understand trauma, when they see a traumatized person and they think, oh my God, this person won't do anything, they're just lazy. No, their brain is shut down. Their body is playing dead. Sure, I can scroll the internet and talk on the phone and watch TV and listen to music, but I can't do anything that requires any effort. Don't ask me to read a book. Don't ask me to go walk anywhere. Don't ask me to cook anything. Don't ask me to organize anything, because none of that is working. Your executive functioning is gone. And that's what people don't understand. My whole life, I was blamed for my disorder since I was a teenager, since I started showing symptoms. Because I was perceived as intelligent and articulate, so therefore I should be able to handle everything. And if I can't handle everything, it's not because I'm ill, it's because I'm being manipulative. That's the message I got my whole life since I was 14 years old. And so that's very damaging to traumatized people, because first of all, when you have DID, you've already gone through a hell that most people will never, ever get even close to. And so you live with that. And when it's trauma, it doesn't go away. Your childhood is never gone. You carry it with you. It is baggage that is with you at all times, like a horrible turtle. And so, now I'm getting a little dissociated, sorry. One second. What was I saying? Like a horrible turtle, I remember that. You carry trauma with you. It doesn't go away. Your past is never in the past. That's a fact. People may or may not believe that, but the ones who don't believe it are just wrong scientifically, okay? And so a lot of times people with DID and PTSD and CPTSD are shut down. That means their brain is not working. Only their breathing and the most minimal of functions is working. Even your language centers are shut down, which is called Broca's area. And you can't even describe the way you're feeling to people in any kind of proper way. It's a very difficult state to be in, because at the same time, there's all this self-blame going on. It's like, get up, get your fat ass up and go do something, Brandy. Get up, go clean something, go write something, go read something, go walk somewhere, make a piece of art, do something with your hands, get up and do something. But the majority of the time I can't. I try, and when I absolutely have to, I succeed, but it is with a lot of trepidation, pain, and fear, and often sweating and being in fight or flight and being a bit shaky to get through those things, because my nervous system is calibrated wrong. It's just calibrated wrong, and it gets triggered by little normal day, everyday events, which sends me into the cycle of fight or flight and lands me in freeze mode. And this happens many times a day, depending on the person that goes through these cycles and depending on their triggers and trauma. And so to blame somebody for something that's very, very much medical, related to your hormones and your adrenaline and everything, is just evil. I will just say it's evil. Like I said, I was blamed my whole life. I blamed myself my whole life. I used to think that I was just this horrible attention seeker who just wasn't trying hard enough. If I could just try hard enough, I just know I could do all the things they want me to do. It's just, I'm just not trying hard enough. And then what that would lead to is unaliving attempts. It's like, if I can't try hard enough, I guess I'm a piece of crap and I don't deserve anything. And so if I can't get what I need by trying hard enough, if I'm that lazy, then maybe I just need to be out of here. If I can't even go for the things I want because I'm just that lazy. It was never laziness. It was always trauma. And I know that now. But forever, I did not know that. And there are so many people who are suffering trauma right now who do not know that, because guess what? The whole world is telling them, you're bad, you're lazy, you're not trying hard enough, you could just do this if you wanted to. Because what they don't understand is they're not dealing with an intellectual disability. They're not dealing with psychosis. They're not dealing with physical disability. They're dealing with a severe emotional disability. An inability to deal with certain levels of stress under certain conditions because of trauma, because that's how our nervous systems were calibrated. So if you see a traumatized person just sitting there, like staring, scrolling the internet, just staring endlessly, watching TV, do not judge them for that. That is them surviving. That is what survival is. You play dead to survive. So something in our environments told us there is a threat, play dead. We play dead. People come along and blame us for it. They kick us. They say, you're not good enough. You're not trying hard enough. You're not sick. You're just freaking lazy. And then our brain goes, oh my God, they might be right. Maybe we're just lazy, endlessly lazy. And I'll never be able to break out of my horrible, morally bankrupt laziness. But that's really not what's going on at all. And another little factoid everybody should know is that 80% of people with trauma disorders like PTSD, CPTSD, DID, OSDD, 80% of those people, they have adrenal gland fatigue, okay? Because our brains are constantly, pumping cortisol, which is our stress hormone, into our blood because we are having triggers and our brain is like life-threatening. And we're going into these states, and that fills our blood with cortisol. And that is what causes the adrenal glands to get fatigued. And what is the main symptom of adrenal gland fatigue is exhaustion. Absolute, utter exhaustion. And I just feel that if people understood the biological basis for trauma, the fact that it's not just a mental problem, it's a physical disorder. It's a medical physical disorder, then maybe they would have a little more empathy. Because as a child growing up, being told all these messages about how bad I was because I just wasn't trying hard enough to get better, has irreparably damaged me. To this day, I think I'm not trying hard enough. And what happens? I collapse from it. I try, I get overwhelmed, and then I just go into collapse, which is freeze, and I collapse from it. That's why people with DID need therapy in order to get better. I need somebody to help me not get triggered by my triggers anymore, and that's going to take years. So I just hope anybody out there who feels like they're lazy, if they're traumatized, it's not that. You will have your moments where you'll be able to do things, and they may not be often. When I have my moments, I do things like make a video. And I made another video like 2 weeks ago. That just shows you the last time I had a moment, okay, where I could get myself together to be in front of a camera. So if you feel like you've been just stuck and frozen for way too long, don't blame yourself. Don't talk critically to yourself. Try very hard to remember this is a medical disorder. This is a long-term illness that you are trying to recover from, and you are in recovery. When somebody breaks their leg and they're in recovery, they're not running marathons. They're on the couch watching TV. Remember things like that, because the world is not going to help you with this. It is not going to help you with it. The world's going to tell you you're the worst and you're not trying hard enough. But the world is 100% wrong. It always has been about this, and it always will be about this subject. It doesn't matter what other people believe. They're wrong. This is medical science. And I don't know which altar this is, but I don't think it's Brandy. But anyway, I wanted to make, and I wanted to tell you guys, I am going to try to make a video where I just read your comments that I haven't responded to and respond to them. Because sometimes I have sometimes I have difficulty formulating comments. Other times I have difficulty I can't write them out, okay? Like, I can think of them, but I can't write them out. It's part of having DID. You can't always do the things you want to do, And so I hope everybody's doing well, and remember, you're not lazy, you're traumatized, and that's okay. And you deserve to heal. And you need time, space, and quiet to do that. And if that looks like doom scrolling the internet for 4 hours, not aware, you're healing. Okay? So give yourself a break, just like I'm going to try to give myself a break. And I love you guys, and I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you as soon as I can. Bye.